Good afternoon, Savvy Pants Shop here. Super excited, as I always am, because not being super excited sucks. But super excited today. Today I've got with me a good friend of mine that I've met a couple of years ago, I think. Right, Marty? Is that right?
You got it. Yep, about 2 years ago, a little bit more.
Now, before I even tell you who this is, and as soon as I just give you his name, you're like, this has got to be somebody I probably want to know. So I got a chance to meet Marty in a business sense, but his name is really not Marty. It's actually Mega Marty. He's the Mega Man. He's the man. So we got to meet in a bit of a business sense. And let me give you a little bit of a why you want to listen, and then we'll talk a little bit and get to some info. But I got a chance to know Marty quite a few different levels in a business sense, as we were digging into his business model and how it works and what he wants to do. And quite honestly, it's the value of what he does. There are people that you meet in this world that are like, oh, that guy's just all hat and no cattle, or that guy is just filled with hot air. Marty's like, he's like the antithesis of that. He's the guy that actually is just like, I don't know, I've just been getting results. Like, well, what have you been doing? And I think a lot of people spend their time focusing on tactics and strategies and how to grow their business, but they're not actually doing very well at their business. Yeah. They just want to be really good at marketing. And then I had a chance to get to know Marty a little bit, and he's like, yeah, things are just going exceptionally well. I suppose I need to focus on these other things. Like, well, what are you doing? And what Marty does on a daily basis, I find fascinating, which is to help women and men make these phenomenal transitions in their body, transitions doesn't sound right. Transformations in their body, which is fantastic. And I'll have him describe it in more detail. But Marty knows what he's doing. He's extraordinarily successful, and he's currently got a waiting list. So to me, that means it's pretty interesting stuff. So please, Mega Marty, say hello. And in your business card elevator speech, what is it?
Sure. I am Mega Marty McPhee from currently Red Deer, Alberta. I am an online contest prep coach, is what you call me, fitness coach. And so what I do is I work with people all over the world, and I get them into shape for both on and off the stage. So they don't necessarily need to compete, but they look like it. They end up looking like it when they're coached by me. So I do their workout programs. I do their nutrition programs. We kind of dinkle into supplements if they need supplements at all. And on a weekly basis, I assess them. We kind of go over everything. It's very multifaceted. It's not just what's your weight. If any, I can't stand weight. It's not my big thing, but it's basically how you look, how you feel, how you're sleeping, how you're doing. And that's kind of my angle. I'd say it's a little bit more different. I focus quite a bit more on different demographics. Like, as I'll go into your bowel movements, I'll go into your menstrual cycle and kind of dive in and see what's going on there. And just kind of the whole reason why I call myself a coach versus a trainer is that I believe a trainer does things for a client, whereas a coach does things with a client. So I like to develop the relationship there and kind of get things going in terms of getting to know them, because then I can kind of pick out something that's going on in their life potentially that they need assistance with in terms of like the food. Like, let's say they're on the weekends, they don't have as much energy, so I'll help them there. And so I've been doing this now. I hit my 10-year anniversary on February 12th, which was awesome. Woo! So I'm not going anywhere. So I was like, now I can finally say, yes, I've got double digits for my work, passion, career. So I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So I've been doing that, and it's been exciting. I have a waiting list now. Is I never want to water down the product, and I believe that's what you and I talked about, Chris. Is one of the lots. Just you don't want to spread yourself too thin, because then no one's getting the product, which is me, the service. No one's getting coached if I can't have enough time to think and breathe myself.
Absolutely. Now tell for people to compete, like what. What's the competition and the end result? These are ladies or guys that you would see in like Health and Fitness magazine or Shape, or you're the guy that puts them in that body to be able to do the photo shoot, but they also compete. And can you kind of talk about and these are all over the country, because you have clients all over the world, really, because you're in Canada and in North America as well, in the US.
That's right.
So what are the competitions? What is the contest?
So there is they call them fitness competitions, or the old term was be bodybuilding shows, but now it's great they're moving to like physique competition or fitness competition. So there's categories. There is bikini, which would be kind of the entry level in terms of muscularity, which would be just more of what you'd see like, let's say, a swimsuit model. And then there is something called figure, which is a little level up from that, then women's physique, and then ultimately there's female bodybuilding as well. And then for men, there is men's bodybuilding, then there's men's physique, and now there's a newer division. I think it's in its second year now, called classic physique, which is going back to kind of the guys like Arnold and Frank Zane and kind of how they posed. And yeah, so it's kind of a newer thing. So basically it's trying to create the look to kind of fit there. And so I will help by saying how the ladies look or the guys look and say, okay, you're more of a bodybuilder, or you're more of a bikini girl than a figure girl, or exactly opposite. You would look better as a figure girl than a bikini girl. And so they go after kind of first place. There's a judging criteria. There's a panel of judges. And so that they have to pose certain different ways for the certain categories. They have to look certain ways for the different categories, and ultimately be able to obtain their pro cards where they're then a professional, and then they can go on to win money in these shows. So and then they can get as well, we'll say, sponsorships with supplement companies. They can get photo shoot deals, modeling deals. So yeah, that's kind of what I like to do for sure. That's the differences.
Excellent. So back in the day of the bodybuilding competitions, and you see Arnold up there, and a bit of a variation when it's come to bikini and then figure and all that. It's not. And if you could maybe walk through, because I remember when I did the bodybuilding show, you've got the Magic Week, which is when everything gets dialed in, which means your abs start appearing. You've got the six pack.
Right.
I spent a year training to get to the point where then you get to Magic Week to see the six pack. So is there a difference between walking around as a competitor and then competition?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll call it be stage ready. And like, yeah, you're referring to peak week, which is basically during your peak week, you will do what you can to kind of maximize your look by about 5% or so, which would just be a little bit of mild water manipulation, potential food manipulation, carbs and salt, potentially, if that's kind of, it all depends on the category as well. And then you would have your kind of shrink wrap is what we call it. Your kind of shrink wrap for stage. You look perfect for pristine. It's almost, we're bringing as close to a photoshopped look for the stage as possible for kind of that one day. And so no, you actually don't want to walk around stage ready, because not only is it unhealthy, but it's just it's obscene. It's like, imagine if you were trying to do exam week all during school. If school was nothing but exams, you stressed, like, and so that take that stress. Yeah, exactly. That stress has gone on the body, not only on the mind. It's just too much, right? So I like, so you can look around, we'll call it 6 weeks out, four weeks out, 6 weeks out. So in other words, if your show is in 4 or 6 weeks, you can potentially walk around, like you said, for the beach or whatever, looking about 6 or 4 weeks out. And then after that, like, there are someone blessed with genetics, like Arnold, I don't think ever looked more than maybe 2 days out, because the guy was just a machine, the Austrian oak, right? It's just the machine. But yeah, for the most part, you can walk around looking extremely good through nutrition. And no, it's not as obscene or as time demanding as what most would think, but it's just being smart about your training, smart about your nutrition, and smart about your lifestyle. So there is a pretty darn big difference, because the body is not meant to be that lean all the time. It's meant to have a little bit of squish to it, and not only that, but then nutrient deficiencies can occur, digestive stuff can occur. So yeah, that's kind of my feelings on that.
Because I think whenever we go visit my parents and we go to the gym, and Dad's perception is you're going to turn into a musclehead after doing endurance events and triathlons and marathons. And then the thought of being a musclehead was fantastic. I'm like, I'd love to try that for once. But then to dig into it and you lift, you're like, do you know how much work it takes to maintain that amount of muscle mass it's insane.
Yeah.
If you want to remain that big. So it's really hard to get there, is kind of my point.
I've had both men and women say, like, I don't want to get too big. And I'll say, if you get too big, you're coaching me.
Yeah,
because I'm like, if it were that easy, I wouldn't exist.
Yeah,
I'd be gone. That's right. So because and that is the big stigma, right? Is that, like, you'll turn into this muscle machine, or that muscles means you don't exactly have the greatest intelligence. Which it's just funny. I love hearing it. You have to all the stereotypes. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So there's just so there was no confusion, because I know my parents had it, or people that don't necessarily go to the gym, or they're not kind of like geeky about this stuff, and it's your profession. I'm just sort of like in the sidelines with it. Like, this is really interesting to me, but it takes so much to get shrink wrapped, like you say. That's for a period of time. That's not permanent.
That's right.
Unless
And funny enough, that is exactly how I like to state that this isn't forever. Like even my competitors that they're going after this pro card, that they're going after to potentially make this into a career for them. It isn't forever. The diet isn't forever, and that's it for just to try to keep up that lifestyle because that is now it's unbalanced. Now it's extreme, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas like you're talking about, the period would be about 12 to 16 weeks is when the pre-contest period is what we call it. So and that does end. And yes, I always facilitate off season, which, and by off season I mean where you're not trying to become razor or shrink wrapped. You are now having more of a lifestyle, right? Something that you are conscious of your eating. You're not going full blown in the other direction. You are more of something that's actually active and fit, as opposed to just trying to all you're doing is spending your time in the gym type of thing. That's right. Sorry, I know I cut you off there, but sorry. Like,
no, you're good.
Just distinctly for you there. Yeah,
you got it. If I had a chance, it's a little bit creepy. Like Hannibal Lecter when he opens that guy's head up. If I could open your head up and just like pour it all out.
You might get a little bit shocked if you did that.
No.
Like, oh no, what did I open?
Put it back on, stitch it up quickly. What are the Marty? When you see people, if you have, in assuming that obviously the majority of if you're specializing in contest prep, you're probably obviously going to find people that are interested in doing a contest. So where do those people normally? Where are they at when they get to you? The most of the people when they go, I'm ready now. Like what stage of life or fitness? It's kind of a tough question.
You know what? I'm glad you asked it, but I get them from all over. I have first-time competitors, people that have kind of had a friend say at the gym, "Oh, you look good, you should compete." And then I've also had I train professional athletes that are looking for a new coach. I had two girls this year that were professional athletes, and now they wanted to try out a different approach. So these are women that have won their pro card, so they've gone through the ranks. So where are they? Where are they at their life? It's usually when they are ready to make a very big change. I'll say that. Like, so if they aren't already involved, which they've done a show or two and they really like it, and maybe they're looking for the mega approach as opposed to something else, it'll be someone that now they're saying, you know what, I've liked the gym. So this is for prep. If I like the gym, I want to maximize this, and I know that I need some kind of assistance to get there. Right?
Okay.
It'd be something akin to if you were a BMX person or you really liked mountain biking and you wanted to now do that competitively or learn, we'll say, elite skills, you'd probably look into hiring someone to teach you that, right? And that's kind of where I would come in for kind of that stuff. So, and then the people that aren't necessarily looking to do competition, they're basically looking for the exact same thing, just without the stage. So that they're looking to, okay, I'm fed up with this. Usually, I would venture to say over 70% have had that moment where they've either seen themselves or they've caught themselves eating something they weren't proud of, we'll say, or they'll just say, you know what, okay, that's enough, whether it is a breakup, whether it is a job loss, something's happened. They're like, I need something very positive in my life right now, and health and fitness is going
Focus
to
on myself.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's going to finally give them back something that's in control. And I'll say that to people so many times in assessments, that when things aren't going your way, you can, like, the gym is your sanctuary. Now this is something for you, will always be for you, that you can work on, and no one forces things into your mouth. You know what I mean? So, and then when they have a coach, then that's not only caring about them, but giving them the ideal nutrition for their individual lifestyles. Then they have a plan, as opposed to just going, I'll start it tomorrow, whatever. It's adherence, right?
Yeah.
So I like to refer to myself as the fitness GPS. So wherever, like, if you make a wrong turn, then I will say, okay, we did this, let's switch it and do this. So, and then any roadblock, any twisted turn, I will, that's through the assessments. You say, hey, Marty, I took a wrong turn. What do we do? Here's two different routes we can go. You get to pick which one you'd like.
Gotcha.
So,
and I always found it really interesting, because I dealt with a lot of folks in the fitness industry, and a lot of which had studios or bricks and sticks, or they were personal trainers. They didn't own their own facility, but they utilized another one. And you are exclusively 100% online right now.
Yeah, you got it. It's been about a year and a half now. I've been entirely online. I had about 5 in-person clients that I trained for about a year that just ended up becoming really damn good friends over the last over the last 10 years. They were probably, I think my longest running one, Hi Ashton, was probably 9 years. So and that was one of the last 5. They hang around forever. And so I always wanted to be online because I wanted to be mobile. That's what we talked about too. Those were my big goals, is being able to not be tied down to the one city. But yeah, it's entirely online now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's excellent.
Now, if I could toot your horn a little bit, because I think there's a giant chasm to go from being a personal trainer in person to then not only just doing it online. That's entirely different, but what you're doing is entirely based on appearance. It's not like, okay, what do you weigh this week? Mm-hmm. Which you said weight is not even a good one, but what you're doing is based on appearance. So tell me how you can go from, like, what's the difference between being a personal trainer in person, like they see you and then they go, okay, you need to do this. You're doing this all over online, camera, Skype, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the predominantly
skill set. That's
it is, and I have sifted through. I get that asked quite a bit. Is how do you
do that? You're not even here.
Yeah, how do you do that? Right?
Camera, you tell me what to do?
I did. I'll plug a little bit of I did a podcast called "How to Be a Successful Online Coach." I did one a little while ago. It was I had a lot of fun doing it because they basically sat me down and said, "How did you do that?" or "How do you do that?" Right?
Not just that linear.
It's very difficult to develop a relationship when it's just email and or like a couple videos, right? So utilizing social media will get the personality across, so they can see me if I talk about things like, oh, okay, he's an actual person. So that's a kind of one of the steps. But also the way I assess people is very all encompassing because like you said, in person you get to see them, you get to watch the movements, everything else, and that's a completely different ball game. So I have to have photos, and they have to be in the same spot, in the same bikini, the same shorts, at the same place, the same time, the same camera, the same everything. Okay. And that's every week. And for competitors, that's every week. And then in the off season, which would be kind of, we'll say, muscle improvement, or the periods of, we'll say, not giving it as hard, that potentially will be every 2 weeks for the photos. Okay. But it's always every week for the assessment. And the questions on there are, how are your bowel movements going? Because that tells me a lot. The guts. Yep. How are you sleeping? How is work to life balance? Are you overworking? Is there lots of overtime? How well are you enjoying your plan? What's your motivation like to work out your plan? How is your strength going? If like strength is something I base a lot of stuff off of. How much can you give it in the gym? How motivated are you to give it in the gym? Then also, we take a look at their supplements, so we take a look at prescriptions, because as you know, things like antibiotics can really do a number on the stomach, which will cause bloat, gas, cramps, all that kind of fun stuff, right? Yep. So I do take weight. I do get them to weight, but the weight would always be on the same day at the same time. And then if it's not, I have questions such as, okay, did you sleep less? Were you up early? Did you eat later before bed? What's your water intake, right? So it's basically, I wrote a blog once called The Variables. And so there's many variables that we can keep the same, like it's A, B, C, D, E, Y, or sorry, A, B, C, D, E, F, G solves for H. And so the more that we can know of A, B, and C, like how long is your cardio? How long is your workouts? Then we can solve for H kind of thing, right? And then that's when it kind of gives me a job though, right? So for the probably the toughest thing that I get asked is, how the heck do you coach someone that you can't see when it comes to workouts? And so what I found very effective is if they are not feeling an exercise, because I'll say that for most people that train with me, they've had some gym experience. They do that, or not necessarily gym resistance training, workout experience. I have lots of clients with good gyms in their house. So that's kind of one. I do accept beginners, but I would much rather them be with a personal trainer first, for sure.
Makes sense.
But is how do you train them in terms of their exercise technique? And so I'll get them to video themselves. And I've had ridiculous good success with this, Chris, is that I'll get them to, like, say they're squatting, they'll get up or they'll squat, and then I'll either in my house or I will go to the gym and I will video myself saying, here's what you're doing, here's what I'd like you to do. And then that's been working like that.
Like a charm.
That's awesome. That's kind of it. Because not only that, but then I get more content out for people too, because then I can say, hey, everybody, here is how Chris's squat was just sucking big time. Here's how Chris can fix this squat. And then people go, oh, I was doing that too. And so then I get to help more people as opposed to just Chris. So and I build a library of that stuff too. So
because that's a fantastic skill set. It's not like I'm a trainer, therefore I just went online. And I dealt with a lot of people in the training industry before that wanted to go online, but it's not just okay, here I am. There's and
it was a slow transition, right? Like I went from, at my busiest, I believe we talked about this, I was 77 hours in the gym training clients, not in the gym training clients. So I was probably at the gym 100 hours a week. And my friend told me that he actually runs the brick and mortar personal training only. He said, my busiest trainers, Marty, work 25 to 30 hours and that's it. And then I tell them to go home because they're going to get burnt out. You are
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
triple that. And I went, oh.
Time
So
to
that was when I said I need to start doing something, right? And that was what really I started, because people were saying, oh, you know what, you should put people on stage. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that, like the scene, the egos, the da. But I started seeing so much bad practice going on, just
Yeah.
unhealthy stuff, so much bro lore out there, like something like tilapia thins the skin, and that, oh, you have to do ketogenic diet and only ketogenic diet or you won't lose fat. Just, oh, it's like, listen, this is not. So then I started putting people on stage.
That would be a great show in and of itself. And maybe we should do a series. Marty's back.
Oh yeah, sure.
The, all the myths that you've dispelled over the years.
I tell you, when I do the myth busting, it's not only it's one of my favorite. I get so fired up, I start spitting. The mic gets covered in spit because I'm so passionate about it. Right? Because that's it. Because I got let down so hard myself from about when I started lifting at 15 till about 21, so 6 years. I did it all. I took all the supplements. I read all the magazines, and just nothing friggin' happened. So I'm very passionate about that. So I like to bust myths that, and I get paid to do it.
Yeah, it's even better. Because there's a, and one of the things, obviously, in Savvy Pants, we're independent Little Row retailers, and we've got a group event, and we share how our juicing is going and how to make NutriBullets, which has perceivably nothing.
I have a NutriBullet. I love the NutriBullet. It's my favorite one. Yep.
Every day. We're on our second one so far.
It's awesome.
But we do that all the time, and somebody will say, hey, how about the juicing? I heard that. Or you're like, there's some really, a lot of that stuff has an agenda behind it. This is bad for you because I sell this. This is the opposite of it. So that would be a fascinating thing, like what the myths are that you've seen that we've been able to
absolutely, yeah. And so the rise of the wraps, like the body wraps, the rise of not just even supplements in general, but the rise of the perfect protein powder, the rise of the natural fat burner, you got it. There's so much out there, and especially for ladies, it all sounds so damn good. You get a celebrity endorser, not even a celebrity endorser. You get Martha, Martha is 40. She is now ready to change her life, and she took Slim Mega whatever. Let's just make up a company, right? And now she's looking at, and I'll tell, and that's why you can always hear with diet and exercise, really friggin' quiet. Maybe somewhere in the background, someone that's saying it that quiet. Maybe with exercise, right? So but yeah, and unfortunately, like how many forms of hydroxycut have we seen? Chris, there's hydroxycut black, hydroxycut female, hydroxycut max, and that came out in 99, and we're still here, and it still doesn't friggin' work.
Exactly.
But it's still here. So anyone I can save, help out for that stuff, absolutely. My list of supplements that work is so little. I bet I've maybe both hands, maybe. Yeah. So and when I say supplements, I mean like bodybuilding supplements, like fat burners. But there are vitamins and stuff that I really do believe in, especially if you need them. But in terms of like the classic scams, there's maybe 10, maybe.
Yeah. The one of the things back in the day that I got a trainer, because I knew how to run a marathon and do triathlons. I didn't know how to do bodybuilding. Right. So I got a trainer, and he said, you need to do this. And I'm like, all right. And I had to pay him, of course. I said, here's the deal. I'm going to do everything that you tell me to do. If you tell me to go get a bag of chicken manure and eat it with a fondue fork, I'm going to eat the whole bag with a smile. And when I get up on stage, what shows up, I'm going to point to you and go, he made this. You
absolutely.
So don't steer me astray. So I think it's really cool with what you're doing. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, it's either working or it's not. You've been doing it for 10 years. You're now full-time online. If you didn't have the results of putting people on stage and making them feel good and or winning, you'd be training some other way.
And that's one of the things that I say too. It's a really great that you said that. I'm looking at you and blah blah, because I've said that when clients are doing something, especially because like this is not forever. This is an unbalanced lifestyle for now. And so I'll say, come on, it's 6 weeks. But remember, you signed up for this. I didn't sign you up for this. You signed up for it. And they go, oh yeah. So sometimes they forget oh, I have to follow the plan. I say, you can eat whatever you want. Just if you want to win, eat what I want to tell you. Yeah, right. Exactly, so I'll say that, make it be my fault. right? For
Absolutely.
the contest stuff, I say, if you follow everything I say and you don't look good, then absolutely you can point at me and say, that guy made me look like horse manure or whatever, the horse manure chicken that you were eating. I look
Yeah,
like that chicken you made me eat, right? But
exactly.
yeah, but so, and that's it, is when you develop that relationship and you do use science backing along with what I've seen over the last 10 years and the coaching, like it's more, you will eat according to how you feel. Like I think that all eating's emotional eating, Chris. Like if you feel
Yeah,
great, you're going to
yeah,
eat well. You don't feel that great, like especially if that's one of your
yeah.
vices, you're
So
not
weird.
going to eat that well, right? Yeah, but
Yeah,
all eating is emotional eating, right? So if I can help with it all, and you say that stuff in the assessment, you say, you know what, work was really friggin' hard this week, and I say, listen, work sucked, but the gym won't,
yeah,
because
exactly.
you can do that, because like like work is not going to take away from you your goals. It's not going to, like, even if it's hard, even if it's long, but how that would work, that would be that bad week of work winning if you let it take away from the
Yeah,
nutritionist.
exactly.
They go, damn right it would be. So, and that's the kind of stuff that will shape that. Like, because
Yeah,
where I saw the bigger gaps in coaching was the weight, maybe photos, but weight, and then weight would be all they decide if you drop calories or not. They like as the
right.
example I use, what if they only slept for 5 hours? Like, I will tell you that when I sleep for 8 hours, I lose a pound an hour. So if I wake up 3 hours early, I'm 3 pounds heavier. Does that mean I didn't follow my meal plan? It means no, I didn't friggin' sleep long enough. So that's
Right,
the
right.
one example of how weight by itself is such a crap gauge.
Terrible number. Yeah.
Let's say I drank a whole bunch of water at nighttime because I didn't drink my water during the day. I had to make it up at night. So there's so much involved in that, right? That can just, be so much more than just the weight, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the things I never had when I competed, I never had the impression that I wanted to get on stage and be respectable on stage. I never
That's
had
right.
the impression that I would win it. It wasn't a career choice.
Mm.
Nobody was going to knock on my door for a photo shoot, guarantee it, unless I had paid for it to happen.
Right.
Which, of course, you always have to do.
Mm.
But you're going to find people are going to find you for, it's a career move. They want to get the modeling photos, whatever.
That's right.
You get a lot of folks that's like, I want to see if I can do it, or how many, like, percentage wise, you see more people want to be professionals at it that find you, or just as many people are, it's like, I need to do this at least once in my life kind of thing.
So it went from being more, I think I can do this, like I really want to see it be competitive. It kind of shifted, and this would have been probably 2013, 2014, it shifted to the bucket list. Like, as in, okay, I want to do something once for myself. I want to get in the best shape I can and get on stage. And I still like that. However, there aren't a lot of divisions that will have, they call it the transformation division, where you lost 100 pounds, you look great, rewarded on this. Just like if you're 400 pounds and you lose 100 pounds, which is amazing, you're still 300 pounds, and you're not going to win a bodybuilding show, right? So they, in some leagues will have that, and that's great and that's wonderful. But I actually retain that I've talked more people out of competing than I have, just because either or talked them to a different show, to a later show, because they won't be competitive in that. And so, because it is going to go into what you asked here, is that if it's a different modicum to get up in front of people and be judged solely on how you look, solely, not because of your weight loss, not because of your bench press, not because of how damn good a human being you are, not because of and so the only one, and I might get shot for saying this, but the only ones that even base upon how, we'll say, pretty you are, or aesthetics in the facial department, will be Bikini and Men's Physique, like the lower entry, because the rest of them, they're looking entirely at the physique. So this isn't even that's why it's not a beauty pageant, right? Because it's how you look, and if you don't look a certain way, it's going to be damn hard, right? And so that's why procuring that. So I would say the amount that want to believe that they could become professional has dwindled a bit, right? I would say it has, and now it's more. And I really like this, and like you have seen the newer versions out there of it's you competing against you, which is true. You know what? Then that's great. However. The stage might not necessarily be the best way to do that. I really like photo shoots. I love photo shoots because then you can look, you can, even if it's not the same photographer, then you go back from the 6 months later or the year later and you have a collection. It's like a portfolio and be like, holy crap, look at that. But even if you don't get the photo shoot, you have the progress photos, the check-in photos, and you go, oh my God, they take even just some selfies in the gym. So it's so there is some that really do want to make it as a profession. It's not only is it really freaking hard, but once you do win, then you get something called your pro card, and then you have to win the pro shows to get the real money. And even then, it's not a lot. Like, let's say top 3 might get $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, and that's barely going to pay for the show, from the food and the travel and the hair and the makeup and the suit and the holy Hannah. Yeah.
You're probably not doing it for the money.
Yep, you got it. So I would say more, it's not necessarily going to be the one-time thing, but it is more doing it for themselves. They really enjoy the sport. They don't think they're necessarily going to turn pro, but they definitely want to be the best that they can and try to beat the best in, let's say, their state or their province. I would say there is a lot of that for sure.
Gotcha. And kind of tell me, what are some of the more entertaining reasons that you've heard from people that said, I want to do this because?
Oh, come on now. You're going to know some of these. Get back at the boyfriend, get back at the girlfriend, and show them what I'm made of type of thing. I've seen, and that difference is something I'm going to talk to you about otherwise too, but I would say that those are probably the two silliest reasons I've had. Or there might be a whole bunch of people out there that don't necessarily know it, but they think it's easy. So that they think it's going to be a walk in the park, or they think that they're a pretty person, so therefore they think that they should just be handed it anyways. And that's always fun for me, that because now I'm cosmetically good looking, therefore I'm gonna win it. Also, I would say the delusional people in both way are funny, in terms of people that are, let's use the 300 pounds and think that they are going to be able to compete in 12 weeks. Those ones are different. Like, oh yeah, it'll come off in no time. I'm like, in 12 weeks, you think we're going to lose 180 pounds? Oh, okay. And then the other way is like, I don't know if I should compete, and they look like they could step on stage in a week. Like, I get both of those, and in both of them, well, I will tell you, both of them are just as maddening to coach than the other. Like, once I don't know, I'm like, could you just go win, please? Right. So yeah. But that's it. We'll say the revenge, or all these in general say doing it for anyone other than themselves.
Okay.
That would just be, I would say, the silly, any form of that, like the doing it because they have an ex-girlfriend that's in it, or I've even heard that people do it because that their boyfriend was a bodybuilding coach, and now they hire another coach to show that they look better underneath of the other bodybuilding coach. Like, oh yeah, like I've seen so much in this. Like, it is nonstop entertaining here for me. Like it's great to hear.
Sure.
Yeah, like, oh, he thinks, he said I would never amount to anything, so now I'm going to come with you and I'm going to amount to everything. And I'm like, okay, okay. Yeah.
Whatever works, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you get in the door, I guess. So what is there, have you noticed anything, like there's a perception, I've asked some personal trainers this before, is the question, the concerns or the expected outcome that people come to you with, and then what they're actually going to learn. You kind of know the process. You've seen it hundreds of times.
That's right.
Know what's going to happen. But is there a common misperception, or the thing that you see the most often that's, I think it's going to be, I'm here because of this, and in reality, you know that they're going to get that? Is there any difference in there? It's kind of a weird.
They come to, what is it? Sorry, can you explain that one more time? So they come to me.
They come to you with a, like when you're looking for a personal trainer, a lot of times people ask the question like, they ask, what shoes do I need to wear? Or is there a certain type of shirt that I need? Mm-hmm. And then the reality is the shoes and the shirt are completely irrelevant. What you need to worry about is nutrition or your...
Oh, sure.
Is there misperceptions that people usually have? And then
of course. Everyone, one of the many questions I get in that category would be, what supplements do I need? Okay. Absolutely, because there's such a heavy focus on, like, if I just have the right creatine, if I just have the right protein powder, that's going to cascade me into, and I call that majoring in the minor, just like as in their like, so what can I do? Like, what can I, how can I overdo? Can I use this pair of shoes to do cardio better? So definitely supplements would be one of them. It would be one of the misconceptions. Still the amount of time never ceases to blow my mind, because thank you Photoshop. Thank you. I'll even have to say it about me. Like I've had some clients whip into really good shape, but if you look at the before and afters on my Instagram, I'll always say what they did, and it will be and sometimes, like when I have this 8-week monster transformation, it's because they were basically living like a pro athlete. Potentially maybe they were off work for a while, or they saved up enough money, because here in Alberta there's a lot of oil field guys, and so they have, we'll say, a month on, month off, and so a month off they can go to the gym twice a day, they can eat perfect, exactly, they can crush it, they can do everything like a pro athlete would, right? So that's when you see these, and I'll say we were able to do this much of a training a day. So I would say time misconception would be one of them. There would be, it's just as a side note, it's getting better. I'll have people come to me a year away from a show and say, hey, do you think I compete in a year? So thank gosh it's turning around the boat a little bit. But I would say people will come to me at 12 weeks out that are probably 20 to 25 to a year, 52 weeks out, and they'll say, okay, I want to compete in 12 weeks. And so the amount of time it takes to get show ready, I would say, or even vacation ready. I had a couple people apply for their weddings here in the summer, and it'll be like, oh, I'm getting married in 4 months, and it's like, ooh, like then I'll always kind of say, what are you expecting? Because I'm not being the one that's saying, okay, they're expecting competitive shape for the wedding, right? Just make sure, okay, we're going to be able to lose fat, do this, you hammer it, cool. And that's a great motivation too. I think outside of competition, wedding would be the number 2 in terms of they're going to give it and they're going to be adherent for you. So that would be it. Other misconceptions would be how valued sleep is as a fat loss and weight and muscle gain tool. People will think, oh no, I'll sleep 5 or 6 hours and I'll make it. When if you sleep, if you can get that 8 to 8.5 hours every night, that'll blow your mind of how much more fat loss that'll do. Cortisol level goes down. The way that I like to say it is, if people are sleeping 7 hours a week and I would like them to sleep 8, I'll say, did you just look at it in a week? That is 7. So that is 7 hours you're missing a week. So that's one entire night's sleep of rest that you're missing. I said, let's take away one of your nights. Let's say Monday you don't sleep. How are you going to feel on Tuesday? Yeah, exactly. And they go, oh, and that can pull them into like just how important friggin' sleep. Because yes, that extra hour will matter mountains. So the amount of sleep you need would be one that they don't kind of get either. And then also for the last one, especially for the ladies, would be just how much you got to oomph in the gym. Just the oomph. Like, you can't go in, there's no...
You can't
like you have to give it, right? Like it is. It doesn't necessarily, I'm not talking necessarily huge tonnage or huge weight, but I'm talking, you have to go in there with an intent and with a purpose. And I like to say that there's it's kind of like a game of Mario, is that if you're always playing on level 1, you're going to get really damn good at level 1, but you're never going to get better. And that's if you go and do 30-pound bench press all the time, 30 pounds, 30 pounds. 30 pounds, 10 reps, 30 pounds. Like you are going to, it's going to work to that point, and that's it. You need to play the next levels of Mario. You've got to do either a couple sets more, a couple reps more, or you are not going to improve. So that's one of they kind of will say, undervalue the amount of intensity and effort that needs to be given. Not necessarily the time. Most now, I will say this to the counter, is that people will know that about 3 to 5 times a week in the gym of weights is kind of what's needed now, which is good. No one says, oh, I think I can do it once a week and get away with it. Like, no, we're not there. If anything, people the misconception would be that they feel 7 times a week. So they think, oh, am I going to have to do this? That would be why people wouldn't even apply, would be because they think that they have to do this astronomical amount of workouts in a week, or the astronomical amount of cardio, or that they can't eat anything, right? That the calories are so low. So yeah, there's lots of misconceptions going in, like especially thinking about, and I love busting those too. That's another one of my myth busters too. If they're like, oh, I'm going to be peeing all the time because I know I'm going to have to drink all that water, I would say, actually, that's just electrolyte imbalance. You're probably not having enough salt. And they go, really? Like I made a post on I made a post on Facebook that said, if you are drinking around 3 liters of water a day and you feel you have to pee every 15 to 20 minutes, you're not using enough damn salt. Put some more damn salt on your damn food. And then people came back, and I had 50. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not getting up in the middle of the night to pee anymore. I thought salt was bad for me. No, salt is the guy on the list at the nightclub that it gets water into the nightclub. The kidney's the nightclub. Salt's the guy on the list. Water. He goes, water. Hey, water's with me. He's got hop in the front of the line. But if not, water's waiting in line. The water's just going to keep pissing out. When you are hungover, and what do you go for? You go for a Caesar. What's Caesar got in it? Salt. You go for grease food. What's it got? Salt. And you feel better. If you just keep drinking water, you're going to feel like crap because you're not having any electrolytes to flush it out. So there's your super huge tip. So that's it.
I need to take notes between Super Mario and earlier on D&D and fantastic.
That's it. There's going to be the caption. If you want to know more about Dungeons and Dragons and how to actually
Super Mario level 2 and beyond.
Oh man, yeah.
And I needed to throw in a little reference there. I could have sworn we've had a previous conversation about exceptionally high-priced mattresses.
Oh, we sure did. Mine is exceptionally high-priced. You are darn right.
You are like Rolls-Royce Phantom kind of mattress category.
I am, and the funny part is that once you buy that, I'm at the cheapest of the Rolls-Royces.
You're cooked now. You can't go back.
Oh no, I can't. If anything, I'll be going to the fancier Rolls Royce of mattresses. Yeah, so yeah, and even that, so that's definitely tying into the sleep, right? Even something like if you're not going to buy the Rolls Royce a mattress, buy the Rolls Royce a pillow. Because the amount of pillow, I know that with the neck, they went, oh my God, because that will affect your mood, which will affect training, the bar on your back. So you got it. So sleep in general, just sleep hygiene, even, it's just so undervalued. I would say outside of your nutrition, the number one thing that's going to stop you from getting the results you want would be your sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things. It's never like top of mind. Like I need to make sure I get this. It's usually whatever's left over.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like that's exactly it. It's what's ever left over. What can I get, or what does my Netflix addiction allow me?
Exactly. Now I don't want to keep you all day because I know you've got clients stacked up left and right, and I'm just happy that you made the time for us. But
thank you.
Maybe the two interesting things to ask of you, like what's the most exciting thing about what you do? Why do you love it so much? And then on the flip side of it, what drives you batty?
What drives me batty? The most exciting thing I get out of this is not only when I see a client win in person, I love it. So what I've been doing lately is I also am the MC of the local bodybuilding shows here. And to announce your client winning, oh man, I tell you, to have the sheet of the top 5 and you have to announce the top 5 and you see your client at the top and you're like, like the job satisfaction for me, Chris, is through the roof. Like, and I'm talking from when my client won nationals last year. She won all of Canada for a figure. I was on top of the moon. I remember getting the text. I was at a concert in Kelowna. Funny enough, of course, I was the tour manager for a guy in Kelowna, and that's my side gig. You don't know all the weird stuff about me, Chris. So I got the text. I got the text for that, and that sent me over the roof. But just as much so when I will have a 46-year-old who's been struggling with even being able to walk down the stairs without feeling, we'll say, any kind of hamstring pain. And she can go, Marty, I just, not only did I do cardio on stairs for the first time ever, but I also had energy to do X, Y, and Z during the day. That gets me off just as much as seeing the number one champion. So, but by far, that's we'll say the most exhilarating part of the job. And Chris, we talked about this a while ago. I'm still, I've been coaching online for at least 7 of those 10 years. I still love it. I still wake up going, I love reading the assessments. I go, I love it. And then when you develop that relationship, it's like, I don't know, online friends will say. So what drives me batty is when people don't check in on time. Oh my, I have got a system, and I have said to people very aggressively that I know, do you think you're my only client? And they go, no, go,
thank you.
Because so, and I've said that not to absolutely everybody, but it is because I have a system, right? And if I don't have when I want the photos done, like for instance, if your photos are always in a different room, I wouldn't even necessarily say adherence, and I will give endless chances, right? Say, hey, I get it. You're in a hotel this week. That's cool. When we can get back to home base to get the photos at the same time, the same place, that's cool. But yeah, because especially if I don't have people check in on time, it's like if I was going to be an hour late for this meeting with you, does that throw a wrench in your day? Of course it does. Or we have to reschedule. That's kind of it. That will drive me batty. Or when you know what it used to. I'll tell you what didn't, or what used to drive me batty that doesn't anymore, would be repeat questions, which are from the same client. If they would ask me, hey, did you say 3.5 ounces of chicken breast? I said, yes, I did. And the next week, hey, did you say 3.5 ounces of chicken breast? Yes, I did. That doesn't get to me anymore. And I don't know if it's just because I know that the navigating through this, like the GPS stuff, even though I tell you what to drive, I know how many times I'm looking at GPS, 150 meters, 100 meters. Oh God, I missed it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Turn around, right? Yeah. Definitely. Okay. If anything, and then I'll add one more to what drives me batty is still to see the people that are doing the reverse of what you talked about. And what I mean by that is that they are putting their marketing and how they look as a coach ahead of the results, ahead of the client. Yeah. They don't, and as someone that why did I mean you come together, right, to learn some business stuff, right? Yep. Is that do not. And I think you echo this too, and I've known this before you even met. So do not forget what made you damn good at what you are, was the coaching. Mm-hmm. So you can have all the systems, you can have the everything, but if you forget the coaching or you let the coaching slide, so what pisses me off is when I see the opposite. I see the marketing or the getting new clients, which is funny because it's always the same people wanting to get new clients, that aren't taking care of theirs. Yet if they just were to take care of theirs, they wouldn't need to be trying to get new clients all the damn time, because they'd be people that are happy sticking around getting results and not being way off. So that still fires me up. It still drives me batty, is that to see that there's still people out there that are, but also I have to turn that into a positive, because then, they can still have an opportunity to find myself and other coaches that are still great. Excellent.
I love that. And I want to tell people, if you're not, Kirsten's coming in, it's perfect timing. If you're not necessarily ready, and we're kind of going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit on this one.
Go for it. Yep.
But if people are not ready for contest prep, and you're not ready for the wait list, is really what it is, because you have a wait list now anyway. But you're working on, it's not ready for launch yet, but you're working on a group training program right now?
That's right. Like I won't necessarily say go full in on calling it group training or group coaching, but it's basically what's going to be happening is we're going to, myself and a partner are going to be getting together a more, I'll say, collective database of what to do things on your own with guidance is kind of what I say. So like, and it'll either be myself or my partner doing exercises with explanations, being able to ask questions here and there to both of us, being able to have support of other people in a group, especially because I'm all about social circle, that like, and how hard that is. If your social circle, you want to work out and train and be more healthy, and no one in your social group does that, you can feel friggin' alone, right? So create a community. As you've seen on my Instagram, like I really like responding to people. Everyone kind of chips in and gives their own opinion. I love that stuff. So I want to make that even more of a thing, so that there'll be kind of workouts in there that you can do. There will be nutrition tips that you can do, kind of all the stuff out there, that basically a hub of where you can find the correct information, that if you want to look like a competitor, or if you want to, transform, I'll even say transform. You don't need to compete. That's the thing. But if you are looking to maximize your health, maximize how you feel, get your strength better, and lose some body fat and lose it the best way possible, this is going to be a database for you.
Excellent. So, and that leads me into what I'd like people to do. If you're watching this video, if you've gotten this far into the video,
thank you so far. Thank you.
Exactly.
Right.
Do me a solid. Marty's taken the time out of his schedule to give us some of this information, which I think is fantastic. The only thing that I would ask you to do right now is to follow him on Instagram. And please. I will include in the description, in addition to a link to your website, I'll include your Instagram handle and where people can find you there.
Sure, that'd be fantastic.
And your Instagram is sick. It's thick. It's meaty. I
enjoy it.
Your captions for a photo are longer than blog posts I've done.
I have to cut
forever.
I have to cut them off at any time. It's 2,200 characters of what you're allowed, and I'm always having to edit it, because I just want to give so much away from that stuff, right? Because I want to tell people the steps of how you get to Bikini Show, or how me and Alicia messed up, or how me and Chris got his booty back. Like I love telling that stuff, right? And 2,200 characters, sometimes it isn't enough, but
it's not
I do a blog post, but just Instagram is my thing, because I love to showcase my clients. I love to say, this is how damn hard this person worked, and here's how you can do it too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a fun platform for me, man. I just love it. Yeah.
There are two things that I've on Instagram with your account that I do. One's look at the photo and then set aside some time to read what's on the photo.
I had to come back.
Maybe. I don't know. That's awesome though.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Follow Mega Marty on Instagram. Look below. You'll find all the information there. Stay in touch with him. If you're interested in getting onto the wait list and it's ready for you, definitely his website will be linked below, and you can find all that information there.
Sure. Even just send me a message if anyone's. Just say, "Hey, I found you through Chris and his crazy shop," and that'd be wonderful, because then I know that you actually took the time to listen to my and Chris crazy interview, and you'll know a whole bunch more about who I am and what I look like. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but then you'll be there and you'll be pre-qualified to hang out on the Instagram for sure. I'd love that.
And a little tip: if you follow Marty, you will find out the newest, greatest flavors of Pop-Tarts.
Oh, yes. Yep, absolutely.
Hashtag
I've
winning.
got secrets are coming. That hashtag winning. Oh, man. Yep, you got it.
Marty, it is great. And hopefully we can do this again and move on down the road. And we'll get some more information when you guys are ready for a few other things that I know that are coming in the future that I can't get into. Let me know. We'd love to get that out to the Savvy Pants Shop family. Let them know what you're doing. It has been an honor to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. And hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Thank you, Chris. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
You are a rock star. Thank you, my friend. Bah.
Bah!